Good morning, YouTube. It's Gatlin here from Carphonics. I hope you guys are enjoying your lovely Tuesday morning. It is, in fact, a lovely Tuesday morning outside. My goodness. Look at that sun, guys. Next to not one single chemtrail outside. Unbelievable. No aluminum oxide in the air today, boys. No aluminum oxide in the air today. Anyhow, we got this Chevrolet Silverado in here. It's actually a good buddy of mine's vehicle. And we're going to be doing an alarm system on this thing. I'm not sure where you guys live or what you guys have, but in Ontario, these trucks are heavily stolen. Generally, they wind up on an Indian reserve, which is quite unfortunate. But this one's already been stolen twice and has wound up either on the reserve or has been very close to the reserve. I guess the last time it was stolen, it was left on the side of the road because it ran out of fuel approximately 1 kilometer from the Indian Reserve. Very unfortunate, I have to say, that they always wind up there. I wish they would have wind up somewhere else, just because. Anyhow, so we're going to be doing an alarm system on this, and today we are going to be installing a Crime Guard 550i6, and it's got the 2-way pager remotes. You guys have seen me install these before, but I'll take you through the process as usual, guys. I know a lot of you are getting anxious about big shifty here, and trust me, this thing's gonna be getting worked on very, very soon. I want it out of the oh, excuse me, almost burped there. I'm gonna be getting this. I want this thing out of here. Worse than you could possibly imagine. It's taking up so much goddamn room, and Chris obviously wants his truck back. As I'm sure you guys have noticed in his videos. So next in line is we're going to be wiring up these bumper lights and wiring up his front compressor along with his train horns and the lights that are in the front bumper. Getting all those wires ran and then ran up into the cab, and then I'll be reassembling the cab and then building the center console around it. That's going to be happening very shortly. I may even get to that today. I am still waiting on my weather pack connectors so I can hook up the lights, and if he ever needs to remove those bumpers, he can go ahead and remove those bumpers if need be. But I want to have weather pack connectors on all the lights that are going on the bumpers and you know, the train horns and all that stuff, so it's not being hardwired, and he can remove it if he needs to, service it or do whatever. I still need to work on this side and get some battery terminals over here. It's actually quite a bit of work. It's not like this small amount of tasks, and again, you know, given that he's my buddy and I want to get this stuff done, you know, it doesn't happen as fast as I would technically like it to get done. But I would like to get this truck out of here very, 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 very soon. It blocks the entire view of everything else going on inside the shop, and I need the space. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start on this alarm installation. I know that Damian's got some other stuff going on in this bay today, but I'm going to go ahead and pre-wire this and get back at you. So generally how I like to start is just by unpacking everything that's going on here. I got the alarm with the 2 key fobs, got the antenna, comes with a couple of batteries for the key fobs there. My recommendation is always that you get a couple of Energizer power cells. The ones that come with it aren't the best, as you can see here. And I'll unpack this here. Starter kill relay. We've got the valet button. We got a LED. And this is for the antenna. Door locks and our ignition and trigger wires are here. Got our siren and our shock sensor. So I like to pre-select which wires I am going to be using, and I just like to, you know, these are the wires I'll be using right here, and these are the ones that I will not be using over here. So I just like to stagger cut those. We'll just go ahead and kind of stagger cut those. And the reason why I stagger cut them is so when I tie it up, they're not going to touch each other there, as you can see. And we'll go ahead and start wrapping all this stuff in some Tissa tape. And this is not a necessary step in a lot of people's eyes. Some people don't mind just, you know, stringing this stuff underneath of the dash and whatever. But for me, I like to, you know, wrap it all in black Tessa tape. It just makes for a nice clean install. I can't really stress that enough. A lot of guys, again, won't do this step because it does take quite a bit of time to do it right and, you know, wrap things up like these fuses and stuff here. You know, I'll wrap these up in some tape here just like that, and it just protects them from grounding out behind the dash and gives the whole wiring loom a nice consistent look. And I've already got my DirectX lined up here at on my computer, so I'm going to predetermine where all these wires go. Now I'm splitting these wires off here because I know that they're going to two different places. Very close together, mind you. Got our parking lights here, and then our dome light trigger here. And every single wire that's going underneath of that dash is getting wrapped in Tesa tape. So I generally like to get the harder things out of the way, like mounting the antenna. I mean, that's not really all that hard to mount an antenna, but I just like to get those things out of the way so I can work on getting the underside of the dash all apart here without, you know, having to, again, take it apart to get these in there. And then mounting the LED. I mounted this one up here in the dash. This truck's got 355,000 kilometers on it, and I figured just drilling a little hole up here. That way this LED is very, very, very noticeable to anybody who may be interested in stealing this truck. Alrighty, so we'll go ahead and start by removing the underside belly dash of this thing here. Looks like there's only one screw holding this thing on. Alright, looks like we got some spaghetti under there, unfortunately. That we'll have to compete with here. So we're going to go ahead and remove this belly tray here. I don't know. Alrighty. I assume that's where that goes. It goes yellow to yellow, so yeah, looks like that there. Whoever did this mechanical wiring before did not do a very, very nice job. So we're going to go ahead now and start installing our own wiring. Alrighty, so we got our connections here that are needing to be made. Starting up my soldering iron. I'm going to start off with our 12 volt. And on this Chevrolet truck, it goes red to red. So red is our 12 volts right here. And we'll go ahead and wrap that up. Like so. Okay. And we'll go ahead and solder up that connection. Alright, and we'll give her a good coating of electrical tape. On any alarm install, I usually like to use electrical tape on the actual connections, and then once I'm done doing all that, I'll wrap all of that in Tesa tape, just to give it nice, one consistent look all the way around. And now that we're done with our power connections, we'll go ahead and wrap this whole harness here in some tested tape just to give it a nice consistent look, like that, and get back at you. Alright, so we've got our unlock and lock wires here. We're going to go ahead and make those connections now. And blue is unlock and green is lock, so we're going to go ahead and split these off, and white is unlock, so that'll go to blue. These are a positive trigger system, so make sure when you're wiring your remote starter or alarm that you make sure that you've got these wired in a way that these will send a positive trigger, not a negative trigger out. Okay, so those are wrapped up nicely there, and we'll go ahead and give those a good solder. Sauter. One there, and give her another one right there. All right, we can go ahead and wrap those up and stick that baby back. Oops, I forgot to press record there, but that's our parking light wires now. And we'll go ahead and wrap this baby up. And we gotta do our dome light supervision and door triggers after this. Okay. Go ahead and make sure we wrap this up in some test tape. And we can plug this back into the BCM. Alrighty, and now we're working on our door trigger. What's up, guys? Damian here. Gallen's just out doing looking at some car audio upgrades on a Subaru, so I figured I'd run this siren wire out here. I've already got my hole through the grommet in the firewall. Try and feed this up through here. Maybe get my fat head in here. I think we have some success. Seems to be going in. Alright. Just gonna take you around and show you. How's it going? Alright, so what I did was I put a hole in the grommet firewall, and with one of these fancy tools. This thing's pretty handy if you're interested in, you know, doing your stuff at home or whatever. We use this on a daily with you know, just saves massive headaches just using this thing. You can't just jam it in there though. You gotta make sure it, you know, there's no wires in the way, that's for sure. But yeah, nice hole, no problems. Gonna find a spot to mount that siren, probably up in that location there, and I'll probably do the ground there as well, right beside it. I may or may not show you that after, but either way. Okay, so we've got all of our wiring done. Here's our remote starter, all wired up and nice. And again, that black Tessa tape just makes things really, really nice, aside from the rest of the crap that he's got going on in here. But I got a shock sensor mounted over here, and yeah, looks like we are ready to go ahead and start our programming procedures. And we'll go ahead and unlock that there, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw this dash back together now. All right, everything's all nicely tucked away there, and we're ready to go ahead and throw that dash back together. All right, so that alarm's all done here, guys, and worked out pretty good. So it's got a bunch of starter kills and stuff in there too, which works out really well. Just press that lock button. Vehicle will lock. Press the unlock button. Vehicle will unlock. Of course, it's got shock sensors and all sorts of fun stuff on there too. And you know, once it's armed, if someone, you know, tries to, you know, give her a bang, she'll go off, and then she'll notify you on the keychains here, let you know that someone's screwing with your vehicle. All right, so next order of business is this Audi TT. It looks like we are bypassing the factory amplifier and installing an aftermarket head unit. Is that what we're doing? That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. So Damian's already got this thing mostly all apart here, and looks like he's got the factory Sirius satellite radio tuner out there as well. Here's the plug for the factory amplifier, and it looks like he's got the factory head unit out of its hole as well. I think we're doing an Apple CarPlay unit in here. Not 100% sure, but I will let you know as soon as I'm done. And here's Gary, the guy who owns the truck right there. How's it going? That's him and his lovely family. Yeah, the truck's all done. I was just talking about it, buddy. There you go. So yeah, I will go over this with Gary, and then I'll get back at you guys in a little bit. All right, so Gary's happy with his alarm system there, and we're on our way back to the office here to pay the bill. But Damian's working away over there, and I'm gonna give him a hand. All right, so it looks like Damian is just running some wiring here, your Bluetooth mic and all that stuff. I'm going to take you guys back here and explain to you why we are doing this. So the factory amplifier on this car has given out. It's kind of a typical problem with these Audis. They put the amplifiers in a very kind of odd area back there in the wheel well area, where it's kind of prone to moisture and that type of thing, especially if you're driving it in the winter. So we're going to go ahead and find all of our speaker leads here and ohm them out and make sure that we're within the correct ohmage, and I'll show you that process now. All right, so we need to go ahead and determine what our speaker leads are going to be, and since the factory amplifier is no longer ever going to be in this car, at the customer's request, we're going to go ahead and disassemble all of this wiring, and these packs come apart here with a couple of quick tabs here. So we'll go ahead and push those in and release our plug. There we go. Okay, and let me see if I can get this here. Alright. So we're going to go ahead and start just disassembling our wiring here. So we've got a little piece of Tessa tape here we're going to go ahead and remove. And that'll expose our wiring. Perfect. There we go. Alright, so we're going to get all this stuff exposed here. Just like that. And generally our twisted pairs that you see here are going to be our speaker leads. And I think the amplifier probably takes care of everything separately, including all the tweeters. This might be our inputs here, and then it looks like we've got our speaker leads here. So let's go ahead and start pruning these off one by one and speaker testing them with our speaker tester popper. So typically anything with a brown lead on it here is going to be your ground on a or a negative on an Audi, and you can see that's kind of consistent through all the speaker leads here. So you got a red and then a brown with a red, and that the brown is going to be your negative. And then you got a red and the brown's going to be your negative. You got red and the brown's going to be your negative. Blue and then brown's going to be your negative. And the way that this works here, we just go ahead and hook up our positive lead to our speaker and our negative lead to the speaker here. And as you can see there, you can probably hear that in the background. And that tells me that that's my driver's side rear speaker. Alright, so now that we've determined all of our speaker leads here, got quite a few, and we need to ohm these all out, the speakers out themselves. We've got our ohm meter here. Hopefully you guys can see that here. I'm just going to see if I can attach it to something right there. You guys can have a view of that. And we need to ohm out each speaker and see what kind of levels we're getting and which channels we can actually combine together. So that says that it's 6 ohm for the tweeter. And let's see what the drivers in each door say here. And it looks like it's about 3 ohms for the doors. And then there's another set of door speakers in each door. So there's 2 speakers in each door and a tweeter up in the dash. And those are 4.7. So now we need to see which ones we can combine to make a even 4 ohm or very close to 4 ohm load so the head unit can power it properly. Now the good thing is that the tweeter up there is crossed over at the tweeter, so the amplifier doesn't actually take care of that. So we're going to combine all these. So we get the driver's front left side entirely. And then we'll go ahead and ohm these out and make sure that we have a very close load, which we should. And our negative here, and our positive. And that gives us 2 ohm if we combine them all together. Alright, so I've determined that we're going to just hook up the doors and forget about the tweeters. The tweeters, if I hook up the tweeters in the dash there, it brings the impedance, if I put these in parallel, to about 8 ohm. And in series, it brings it to about 2 ohms. So the deck can't handle 2 ohms. It can handle between 4 and 8. And 7 is better than 8. You get a little bit more bottom end out of it. So we're going to retain the door speakers and forget about the tweeters in the dash. So we're going to go ahead and hook these up in parallel, positive, negative, driver's door, and then just simply forget about the tweeters altogether. Alright, so we have got everything all hooked up here. Everything's all heat shrunk. And I bet you a lot of you guys were wondering why I didn't cut off this sheathing here, and it's because I want to put it back to where it belongs. Put it back over top of all this connections here that we've made, and make this look as factory as possible. Alright, everything's factory as possible looking here. It's going to zip off the zip tie here and here. And we're good to go. So we can stuff this back into here and just go along with our wiring, make that look all nice and pretty. Shot there. There we go. Back there. There. Looks like whomever was taking this apart, which wasn't us, didn't really know what the hell they were doing. Unfriggin' here. Let's check this out. Alright, fold the seat down. Put that like that. This is supposed to go in there. Like that. Okay. This goes there like that. Yeah, so this piece here clicks into place. There and there. Good stuff. right. All right, trunk's all back together here. Just gotta fold up that seat. Hey, would you mind just fold up that seat with me here? It's that one right there. There we go. All right, that's all back together. Trunk can get closed. All right, so Damian's done all of his wiring up here and all that jazz. And we're gonna go ahead and set that on the floor there. And there's his factory radio right below it there. Beautiful. Beautiful Damian, the D-Man. All right, so we're just waiting on the dash kit for this. And then next we got a 2000 and something Volkswagen Jetta outside that's gonna be getting done. And we'll go ahead and get that thing pulled in here. All right, so here's our dash kit, guys. And it's basically just a steel cage that the radio will fit into. And a plastic filler plate there. Damian's gonna go ahead and do that, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull on this Jetta. All right, so this Jetta here is getting a heads unit and 4 speakers, and then I guess we're running a set of RCAs to his amplifier that's back there already. Okay, so our harness for our Volkswagen is all finished up here, and before I install this, Damian has already pulled out this Audi here, and I figured I would show you what the dash kit looks like. It's a nice finished dash kit. It's a Connects 2 dash kit. It's like a subsidiary company of Metra, so it does look quite nice, but it looks like the door is locked here, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab the keys. Okay, so there's the dash kit here, nicely installed. Everything looks really good, and yeah, you know, it's got a nice trim fit finish to it here, kind of folds into the factory lines and that kind of stuff, so I think that looks quite nice, and yeah, not too bad. Doesn't sound horrible either. Yeah, not bad at all. Sounds really good. So that's it right there, guys. So I'm gonna go back inside and finish installing that radio in the Jetta. All right, so we got our radio antenna here. And we'll go ahead and start plugging all this fun jazz in. Okay, that's strange. Metra calls for this antenna adapter. Of course, Metra's wrong again. Alright, let's try that again. I believe it's a 40 EU10. There we are. My goodness. And it looks like we have to hook up our RCAs that I've already ran here. And I've already got a connector here attached to our harness that we can do that with. One there. Okay, and then we can plug in our vehicle side to our Metra harness adapter here. Boom, and it plugs into there, and then we can get our radio hooked up here. And our RCAs, which is going into our sub. And then our antenna adapter. So everything's all hooked up nicely here. And we'll go ahead and just nicely strap all this stuff back behind the radio. And slide it into place. Just like so. Let's give her a little testaroo here, make sure she's good to go. I think I got the keys in my pocket. Sometimes these radio modules take a second or two to initialize. Go ahead and give that a whirl there. There we go. Alright, set this up. It is approximately 2:56. Or 2:43 should I say, sorry. Boom. Alright, quit, yes. And we'll just make sure we're getting sound here. And radio signal. Okay, so we're getting audio here. And I'm going to slap this back together and get back at you. Alright guys, so we're all done with the radio install on this thing here. I ran my RCAs back as well into whatever he's got going on back there. Not the happiest thing back there. You know, one thing I also wish though too is that when somebody brings their vehicle in and I ask them to clean it out, you know, I'm not just like, you know, move your stuff from the front to the back. You know, if I'm working on your vehicle and, you know, you got stuff in the front and in the back, take all of your shit out of the car. So that way I'm not having to work around, you know, garbage and, you know, old muffins and, you know, just disgusting shit, right? So it's like, he's like, oh yeah, I totally removed all the stuff. Is that why I have a whole box full of crap here that I've removed out of your vehicle? Anywho. All right guys, so it's getting kind of late in the day here. I need to call this video a day and wrap up the editing of this video and wrap up the install on this thing here. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, make sure you slam that like button, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one guys. Carphonics signing out. If I don't see you, good morning, good evening, and good night.